Okay. Now we are on air.
Okay.
Okay, this is just pre-recording, so um, I'll be able to probably make any edits later.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well, you are on the podcast, and right now I'm calling it Hot Topic. I just like to have different hot topics to talk about. But since May Awareness Month is coming, I just
Yes.
thought it would be fantastic to get some of my fellow lupus sisters or brothers, out here and speak about this awful disease.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we know that lupus is definitely a chronic disease that can cause pain and inflammation in any parts of the body. And of course, it could take a while to kind of get diagnosed.
Yes.
So, it's a blessing to get diagnosed because you don't want to be running around here not knowing what's wrong with you. And many people go through that. So, I don't know what year. I think you did tell me, but I want you to tell the people, like, what year did you find out you had lupus, or when you first started, and when you first started having the symptoms?
Um, I started getting sick when I was about 9 or 10. So that
Okay.
was back in the 80s. Um, I was sick for a little bit. Do you want to know like what my symptoms, I mean, how I was?
Yes. I'm sorry. And
Okay.
we are talking with Miss Heather.
Hi.
Yes.
So I started getting these rashes and they were like little welts. And so my mom thought maybe I was allergic to red food coloring. And so they just removed all the red food coloring out of what I would eat.
Yes.
And they kept coming back, even though I wasn't eating anything red. And so then they thought maybe I was allergic to acrylic
Mm-hmm.
because back then a lot of clothes had acrylic in them. And so I wasn't allowed to wear anything with acrylic in it.
Mm-hmm.
And these little spots kept coming back, and um, they were like these little red spots, and it would get a ring around it, and then they would raise up on my skin, and then they would spread out, and then they would either get another ring around them and raise up and spread out more, or they would just go down into my tissue and then they would be like bruises. It was really weird.
Yes. I
um
can imagine.
looking back now, there were other things going on, but I was little. I mean, I was just a
Yes.
little kid. So
Yes.
they didn't know what was going on, and these rashes just kept happening. And then I'm just trying to remember back.
Yes.
Um I don't really remember a lot about it.
Yes.
I started losing weight for the first time in my life because I was a chubby kid. I was a
Yes.
chubby kid. I'm a big girl now,
Yes.
but I was a chubby kid. And so I started losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really started losing weight. And the doctors were just trying to figure out what was going on. My hair, I don't remember if my hair was falling out then or not. Um, but anyway, I started losing weight, and then my primary doctor, he was
Yes.
just stumped. And so he did some more lab work and introduced me to a rheumatologist,
Yes.
and he did some work, and I met him, and then within a couple days we met him again. My parents and I met him again,
Yes.
and he put me in the hospital.
Wow.
My kidneys were down to 20% function.
And you still around the age of 9 or?
At that point, it was right before I turned 13.
Oh
So
wow.
so
Yeah.
I turned 13 August 27th, and they put me in the hospital at the beginning of August. So I was he now I know. I didn't know this back then. All I knew is my dad started crying, and I had never seen my dad cry before. And it scared the bejeebers out of me.
Yes. Yes. I can
um,
imagine.
uh, it was very, very scary. And I remember, what I do remember is being in the hospital and my dad started crying, and I told him, I said, don't worry, I'm going to be okay. I go,
Yes.
whatever this is, I'm going to be okay.
Yes.
And I found out just a couple years ago, my mom told
Mhm.
me, I don't know why she felt the need to tell me this, but she said, just so you know, when you were sick, he told us if you did not turn around within 24 hours that we needed to make arrangements. And
Wow.
that's how fast I was going. So I'm glad I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes.
um, but they gave me, I don't know what they gave me. They hooked me up on all sorts of IVs and stuff. And
Mhm.
I just remember after that first bag of whatever it was,
Yes.
I was like, I'm good. Let's go.
Yes. Yes.
I'm ready to go home. Let's go. Let's go. You know, and it was just, I don't know, it pumped me up with
Mhm.
something. I don't know what it was, but um I could probably find out, but I don't care. And
Yes.
so I was ready to bounce. I was like, let's get out of here. Let's go home. And my dad was like, no, you're not done yet. Um,
Mhm.
so that was the beginning. And
Yes.
then it's just been a process ever since. So back then they didn't have the research or the knowledge that they do now.
Yes.
So the medical books that I got a hold of gave me a 10-year prognosis. So I grew up thinking I wouldn't live past 23. I
Wow.
grew up thinking I would never be able to have kids. Um,
How
so
many
yeah,
kids do you have now?
I have 3.
Oh wow, that's a blessing. I
and the
mean,
grand and the
yes.
grandbaby. I have 3 and a
Aw,
grandbaby.
congratulations. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, in fact, my oldest is 20. Oh gosh, I have to do math. They're all in their 20s. My youngest just turned 21. He'll be 22 in September. So they're 22 and up. Um,
Okay. Do you mind
so
telling your age range from 13 to now? Like how long you still here?
what?
Would you you don't have to get an exact age, but you want to give us like your age range?
Of where I'm at now?
Yes.
I'll be 53 in August.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a blessing
Yeah.
because coming from back then in the 80s, well, I was just being born in 87. So I know a lot of people, a lot of things wasn't known back then, about
Right.
this awful disease. And
Yeah.
to hear that you probably wouldn't live to, or even have kids, and it's a blessing because a lot of people still to this day is, leaving here.
Yep.
Um, so you are a miracle. I'm so grateful that you got on here today to spread awareness, and let them know that it does not have to be the end.
No.
You know,
No.
thing is by learning about what's going on with yourself, getting the help that you need, the diagnosis. That's very important, getting the diagnosis, because you don't want nobody to diagnose you with the wrong thing.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and like, how did you kind of live your? Wait a minute. How did you kind of live your teenage life after that? After finding out you having to go back to school and watch out.
Um Actually, it's funny that you asked that, because I'm sorry, I have to put these on because I can't see you, because I'm 53 and I have to have
No
readers. I hate it because I'm wearing contacts, but I can't see. I can't
Oh,
see close up if I'm wearing my contacts, but if I'm wearing my
yes,
glasses, I don't like wearing glasses, but I end up wearing glasses anyway, so
yes.
whatever.
It's okay. I got you.
um okay, so as a child,
Mm-hmm.
uh lots of medical appointments. I was always going to the doctor. Um, Prescriptions, prednisone. I grew up on prednisone, 60 milligrams a day. It was awful. I ballooned up.
Yes,
Of course, I was, like I said, I was bigger anyway, but add the prednisone, you get
yes,
even bigger and puffy. Um, I
For those
lost my.
that don't know, that's like a steroid.
Yep.
It would do it.
Oh yes. The steroids. I don't remember everything I was on. I was on a lot of stuff. The hair
Yeah.
started falling out.
Mhm.
I had to walk around with an umbrella. I couldn't be in the sun. Um,
Yes.
for 8th grade, our big thing was to go to a place called Kanita, which is like an Indian resort. I don't know if I'm allowed to say Indian anymore, but it's an Indian reservation. That's what it is, and
Yeah.
it has a whole bunch of outdoor swimming pools and stuff. So I went around in the swimming pool with my umbrella. I was the only one.
Mhm.
So it's notorious. It was something our school did. And so 8th grade graduation came. Everybody was always sunburnt. I was the only one that was not sunburnt ever.
Yes.
And so I just did what I was told,
Oh,
is what I did until I got older.
yes, kind of straight away. Yeah.
I was done. I got to a point. Now, I do want to say one thing. I
Mhm.
was blessed with an amazing man as a
Wow.
doctor.
Yes.
He just retired in 2021. He was my doctor for 35 years, and he is an
That's a blessing.
amazing man. And we'll go there.
Yes.
We'll go there later, but
Yes.
I he was amazing, and he took very, very good care of me, and
Yes.
he he treated me with respect
Okay.
and lightheartedness,
Yes.
but he was also stern because I
We
got a
need
wild I got a wild hair as a teen and decided I didn't need to take my medication anymore.
yes.
And I started not taking it.
Mhm.
And my mom realized she hadn't been getting me my prescriptions. I guess this is a confession. She hadn't been getting my prescriptions. And
Mhm.
so she was like, I haven't been getting your prescriptions. Are you still taking your medicine? And I was like, sure I am. So
Yeah.
then, sorry,
I'm sorry. I have to take
that's
this.
okay.
I'm sorry. It's
That's okay.
one moment.
Okay.
I apologize about
That's
that.
okay. It's okay. I was getting too wordy anyway. I have a tendency to do that. I get really wordy when I'm nervous. So,
I understand. Yeah, we can all get a little nervous, and lupus don't make it any better either. I don't know about you, but it definitely doesn't do great with my anxiety.
Oh, I have terrible, terrible anxiety.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I have like a list. So people are like, "So what's wrong with you?" And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Well,
Right.
I have oh gosh. So the whole list, okay?
Mhm.
So I have the systemic lupus because there's different kinds. That's why I had asked you what kind you have. So I have the systemic lupus, and
Yes.
I also have generalized anxiety disorder, PTSD.
Yes.
Um, I just recently was finally diagnosed with fibromyalgia
Yes.
because I thought my pain was always the lupus. I always thought the
Mhm.
lupus was causing all my pain. Well, turns
Yes.
out it's the fibromyalgia. I have Sjogren's. Just found that
Yes.
out couple years ago. And then I was just recently diagnosed within the last few years with
Mhm.
antiphospholipid syndrome. I have long COVID. I had told you about that. I have the long COVID. I have PMDD, which I
Yes.
didn't even know existed.
I have that also. You're right. It's
You
worse than
do?
PMD. Yes.
Oh gosh. I'm so
It's the worst
sorry.
than PMD. Woo! You know,
Oh.
I don't hear many people say they have PMDD. I know about PMD people have, but they don't know about that PMDD.
Oh, the PMDD is a real thing.
It definitely is. It's no nothing to play with, and
No.
I think it makes our lupus tend to be worse. I know during those times, my pain is at not like all time high, inflammation wise.
Yep.
Yes, like
Um
2 weeks.
wait till the perimenopause kicks in.
I've had symptoms of those when I had to get this injection because I had like endometriosis and ovarian cyst syndrome, and the doctor had
Mhm.
to I had to have surgery on them to remove cysts, and I guess even bigger. And then he instead of having surgery again, they put me on this shot, and it gave me premenopausal symptoms. And I didn't know what was going on. I was having all types of hot flashes. I feel like something getting me in my dreams and my sleep at night. I didn't know what was going on. And the doctor was like, he laughing. My gynecologist like he laughing like, talk about there ain't no demons. That's what now you know what premenopause feel like. And I'm like, huh? Woo! I'm not
Yeah,
ready.
I don't know if I so that all got I think God was like, you know, let's give this girl a break. So during all that whole
Yeah,
process of,
yeah,
doing the whole lupus thing, I didn't start.
yeah.
And so my doctor, he was like, "Have you started yet?" And I'm like, "No." And he goes, "Okay, if you don't start before you turn 18, we're going to have to,
Mm-hmm.
look into that." And I'm like, "Okay." Right before my 18th birthday, I kid you not, like 2 weeks before I turned 18, Aunt Flo showed up. And I went back to the doctor. I'm like, "What did you do?"
Yes,
I didn't ask for this.
right. I know that's right.
Because it stunted my growth. I was 5'6" when I graduated from high school.
Yes.
I'm 5'8" now.
Wow.
Um, so it stunted everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but obviously the plumbing works. I wouldn't have 3 kids otherwise. I
Yes.
I was high risk pregnancy, but I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
any complications.
Okay,
Um,
that's great.
I do now that they're older.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm definitely sure.
But it's just I have truly been blessed, despite all of the ups and downs that I've had all throughout these years. I've truly been blessed because I know that some people have it way worse, um,
You're right.
way worse than I do.
You're
I've had my trials. I've definitely had my close calls. I've had inflammation in the brain. I've had just weird things happen to me.
Yeah.
But I had a really traumatic experience back in 2015, and my lupus decided it was going to, remind me that it's still there. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and it tried to take me out.
Wow.
So my foot was turning purple. Um, I got really, really sick, and by the time 2017 rolled around, my blood was turning toxic because of all the different medications I was on. My doctor's like, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't,
Yes.
I didn't qualify. Is it Benlysta? For some reason, I didn't qualify for Benlysta, and he felt like that was the next available option for me. So in 2017, I could feel myself dying. I knew I was in the process of dying, and
Wow.
I have these kids. My
Mhm.
son graduated in 27. My oldest graduated in 2017. So I was towards the end of 2017. I got in the car after this doctor's appointment where he was like, I don't know what else to do. And
Yes.
this man's been with me my whole entire life for the most part.
Yes.
And I got in the car, and I think you're a Christian is what I saw on your Facebook page.
Yes.
So I got in the car, and I yelled at God.
Mhm. Yes.
I'm a Christian as well, but I yelled at God, and I said, if you're
Yes.
gonna take me, just
Mhm.
take me now, get it over with.
Yes. I
I
feel.
don't want my kids to go through this. I don't want them watching me die. I don't, it's just like, just get it over with. And
Yes.
if you're
I
not
feel.
going to get it over with, show me what it is I need to do to help
Yes.
myself.
Sure.
And I mean, I yelled, I screamed, I cried, and all of a sudden I had peace. And it was like, okay, I guess that part's done. I didn't know. It was just like everything just kind of stopped. And it
Yes.
was like, okay. Within a week's time, I got this wild hair. This nudge
Mhm.
is what I call it. I got this nudge. And it was
Mhm.
like, okay, lupus is inflammation. What do you need to do to stop the inflammation? And it's like, okay. So I looked up what foods or how to stop inflammation.
Yes.
And it had a lot to do with what you eat. And
Yes.
then I started, so what I did was I looked up foods that fight inflammation,
Mhm.
and I told myself to only eat those foods.
Okay.
And then I got a little bored with just eating those foods. And so I Googled what foods cause inflammation.
Yes.
And so I looked up those foods, and I told myself, don't eat those foods.
Yes.
And so I stopped eating those foods. And then I just got on this kick, and I couldn't stop learning.
Yes.
And so I got into the green smoothies.
Okay.
I found out that all these different vegetables and all these different, the fruits and the vegetables, but mostly vegetables, have all of these qualities to them that I did not know. I mean,
All right.
I grew up on boxed dinners, you
Me
know,
too. Yes.
boxed meals, boxed dinners, mac and cheese, TV
Yes.
dinners, pizza, all that stuff. That's what I grew up with.
True.
Um, and all of this stuff just started, and it's like I can't stop learning now.
Yes.
Even now, today, I can't stop learning. And I don't know if you know who JJ Smith is, but she is this huge green smoothie person. So I got one of her books and I started doing these green smoothies. And
Okay.
I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. And
Wow.
within a couple months, it was like, I really feel good. And
Mhm.
then I found out about Dr. Brooke Goldner,
Yes.
who is a lupus patient. JJ Smith was doing it for complexion, for beauty, and for
Yes.
health reasons. I'm not saying she wasn't doing it for health
Yes.
reasons, but then there's this doctor that
Mhm.
shows up out of nowhere, cured her own
Yes.
lupus by using green smoothies. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it. And so I just incorporated green smoothies and everything, and everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't be drinking smoothies and blah blah. No, these are green smoothies. These are
Yes.
like pitchers full of greens.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's not ice cream and fruit and all this.
Right.
It's all greens with a
Right.
little bit of fruit on top just to make it taste good, you know.
Yes.
Um so I've been doing that since 2018.
Mhm.
Um I started feeling so good in the first couple months of doing that. I went back to the gym.
Wow. That's
And I went from not being able to hardly walk.
mhm.
So when I started, I could just barely even make it into the warm water pool. Got into the warm water pool and started doing like water aerobics, just something nice and easy.
Yes.
Excuse me. Kicked my butt. It kicked my butt. But I kept going and I worked up to 2 classes. And
Mhm.
then I worked up to going upstairs to the cardio. And then I did that and
Yes.
it just kept going and going and going. And then it became, I don't know, I became this powerhouse. And I was at the gym 5-6 hours a day. By the time I
Wow.
was done with everything, I lost like 70 pounds.
Wow. Hello? Freezing
So
up.
good. I was just a beast. And
Yes.
did we lose you? Oh,
Oh, it kind of started
oh okay.
in and out. Yes.
So
Yes.
so I did that. And then I met my now husband towards the end
Yes.
of that year. And in 2019, I
Mhm.
had an appendix attack and had to have my appendix taken out. And my body did not respond very well to that at all.
Pausing. It's freezing up again.
I don't know. It said that I had a possible perforation. So I
Hold on. It's going in and out. No, it's going in and out now. Hold on. Hold on.
I don't want to look at myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it back right. It kept going in and out. I was trying to see how to
Yeah.
fix it. Um. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to figure out how to get back. Okay, let me see. What do I do to put you back up here? Oh wow. I'm not trying to. Okay. I think
All
I
right.
got
Do
it
you want
back.
to
Okay, there it is.
start over? I cannot get so wordy. I feel like I'm talking too much.
Oh, you're good. It kept going in and out.
Yeah.
Like I definitely, I was hearing everything based up until it got to the appendix,
Yeah.
and you got that removed. You said the body didn't do too well with that.
No.
So basically after that, you weren't able to like do all the exercises and different, different things.
No, I had a hole blown out of the back of my leg. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I got uveitis. So I woke up one day and I could see perfectly, and I do not have good vision
Yeah.
at all. So that scared me. I didn't know if I was
Yes.
having a stroke or what was going on. Um,
Yeah.
so I had inflammation in my eye, and it corrected my vision. The inflammation tilted the retina just enough,
Yeah.
and I had 20/20 vision out of my left eye, and
Yes.
I'm like negative 4.50.
Wow. Wow.
It was just